All right. Greetings, family. I just watched a powerful live from Sister Mila Renee. I I'm just inspired every time I watch her. And she one of the things she said was, "Don't wish me a Merry Christmas." And I know a lot of people probably would take issue with that or feel um some type of way about that or take offense to it, but it is what it is. So I was coming on, I wanted to do this presentation about Kwanzaa and to hear that. So I was like, immediately, I was like, Happy Kwanzaa, sis. And so I just want to take a few minutes to talk about Kwanzaa because it's December 24th. Um, Tomorrow is the day for a lot of people, and I like to call it tomorrow. I like to say Happy Kwanzaa Eve. Kwanzaa, I love Kwanzaa. I love it, love it, love it. It was something that I discovered some years ago, and of course, like most people, we've heard of it, but we really never get into what it is and how we should celebrate it, practice the principles throughout the year, and celebrate it during the week of December 26th to January 1st. So I want to talk about that a little bit because I think um, the misconception is that it's bland, it's lame, it's this, it's that, and the other. In our culture, it's never lame. Let me just say that right out the gate. Um, so I've really been thinking about what we do and how we do it, and why Christmas is such a dominating uh, concept, holiday in our everyday life. You know, Kwanzaa was first, birthed in the late 60s, early 70s. And so it, like most things, Christmas has had a huge head start on Kwanzaa. So anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about it. Um, Greetings again. I'm here at the Cultural Center in Coldwater, Mississippi, Restoration New Direction Culture Center, and I have our Kwanzaa setting here next to me. We usually keep it up on the bookshelf throughout the year so that we can be reminded of this beautiful celebration throughout the year. Greetings, Sister Mila. Greetings, Brother Demetrius. I'm glad that you all are joining me today. I'm not going to be very long. I just kind of want to go over the seven symbols of Kwanzaa and talk about the seven principles and then share some resources that can help us become more familiar with this celebration. So, as I said, we do keep uh, the setting up all year long, as I do in my home. I keep my setting on display as well so that I'm constantly reminded about incorporating those seven principles throughout the year, not just talking about them the last week of the calendar year. So, the first thing I want to say is I love this place. I'm on my laptop. If I was on my phone, I would give a tour of the center. It's a beautiful, safe space. A few days ago, I made a post that said Black people need safe spaces so that we can begin the healing process on our terms and from our experiences. And let me tell you, this is a safe space. We do a lot of things here. This year, we decided to do our Kwanzaa program at another safe space, Kemet Coffee. So if you're in the North Mississippi area, in the Memphis area, Oxford area, join us Wednesday at 1 o'clock at Kemet Coffee, which is another safe space for Black people. So also, we need you to support the safe space. That's one thing that we fail to do is support our safe spaces. We don't have many, so we need to continue to invest in them. Greetings, Larry Pooh. How you doing? Hope all is well over there in Arkansas. So I do want to talk a little bit about Kwanzaa, the settings, and so forth and so on, because some of us don't know that each of the symbols have a specific meaning and purpose when we're talking about Kwanzaa. So if you don't have a Kwanzaa setting, I'm gonna put my camera down a little bit so you can see it. If you don't have a Kwanzaa setting, I encourage everyone who is listening to invest in a Kwanzaa setting. Um, I have one here, I have one at home, and I also have one, I'm a librarian by trade. I also have one at the library that I have in my space as well. So let's talk about the seven symbols of Kwanzaa right quick. So this right here, I don't what I'm touching is called the makika. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to name the Swahili, tell you the Swahili word. And Swahili is a language of choice because most of our brothers and sisters on the continent, it's a widely used language on the continent. Swahili is. So I'm going to tell you the Swahili word, and then I'm going to tell you the English word. So this that I have my hand on is called the makika. The makika in Swahili. I'm trying to read Sister Mila's comment. Let me see right here. Ashe, definitely a safe space. Yes. Sister Mila, I'm gonna say this before I go back to the Makika. I was looking, Facebook memories come up, and a year ago we had the wellness weekend. And I was thinking about that because it was at that wellness weekend that you inspired me to really pay attention to my health and wellness because it's all tied together. Your physical, spiritual, and mental well-being is all connected. It's a continuum. And so I made a conscious decision to move more and eat better. So I know you were at the gym when you were doing your live, and I was at the gym this morning. So I have made a deliberate and constant and consistent choice to get it in and to live better and feel better because hey, I want to be here for a while. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to the Makika. Is the mat. And so this represents the foundation on which we build. So we all know we have to have a solid foundation. So the Makika, the mat, represents the foundation on which we build. Okay. The Kanara. The Kanara is the candle holder. It is symbolic of our roots, our parents, and the people on continental Africa. Okay. So that is the Kanara, the candle holder. The Mashima Saba, the seven candles, the red, the black, the green, the seven candles. This is what we would call the Nagusa Saba, right? They represent the seven principles, the seven minimal set of values which African people are urged to live by in order to restore and reconstruct our lives and our own image and according to our needs, which is one of the principles. And we're going to be talking about the principles shortly. Here we have the Kakumba Cha Umoja, the Unity Cup. This is symbolic of the foundational principles and practice of unity, which makes all else possible. So we all know, most of us know that the first principle of Kwanzaa is emotion, right? And then back behind here, we have the Zawadi, the gifts. So if you love to give gifts, hey, Kwanzaa has a place for that. The Zawadi is symbolic of the labor and love of parents and the commitments made and kept by the children. So when we give Zawadi on January 1st, the last day of Kwanzaa, these gifts are meaningful and purposeful. Last year, a lot of the children, well, I personally wanted to give the people who work with me and the people who support the Ashe Academy. So what I did was, and even the scholars, I looked at each scholar and I thought about their personalities and I chose books for them. And so they were so appreciative of the books. Even one of the scholars, I had given her a book titled Before Betty X, and it was the life story of Sister Mama Betty Shabazz. And she was so excited that she wrote a book report. So I was very pleased that they were happy about the books that I had given them. And so the people who work with me, some of the adults, I did the same. So that is what Zawadi is. It's not just giving gifts just because. It's really thinking about the people that we want to gift, thinking about their personality, think about what they need, and think of about what can add value to their life. And that's how you give, right? The Mahindi, this is the corn. It symbolizes our children and our future, which they embody. So the ears of corn, the number of ears of corn that you should have in your setting is directly equivalent to the number of children in your home. So the one in my home, I actually have 4 ears of corn because I had 3 children and I had 1 granddaughter. So I always put 4 on my Kwanzaa in my Kwanzaa setting. Here, We only have two because even if you don't have children, you want to have at least 2 ears of corn because all the children of the community are our children. And so the corn, there are many kernels on the corn, and you can use the corn kernels to plant more corn. So it's a continuation of who we are. So the corn represents the children and represents the future. And what I don't have on the setting is the mazo, the crops. So when we get a little bit closer, or if you come to Kemet Wednesday, we'll have our complete setting up and we'll have the crops here as well because they're symbolic of the African harvest celebrations and other rewards of productive and collective labor. So we'll have our crops here as well. Usually fruits and vegetables will be placed on the mat as well. So that is the Kwanzaa setting. Now I do want to talk about the candles because beginning December 26th is when we'll start the lighting of the candles, right? So we start, you all know where we start. Everyone pretty much knows where we start when you are celebrating Kwanzaa, the week of Kwanzaa. So you start with the black candle, right? And the black candle, the first day of Kwanzaa, let me backtrack a little bit. So December 26th, I call Sister Mila and I say, Habari Gani, what's the news? What's the news, Sister Mila? And for that day, you will give me the Kwanzaa principle for the day, right? Which the first day is Emoja, which means unity. So you go about your day and in the evening time or whenever you want to gather the family, you gather around the Kwanzaa setting and you have someone like the black candle, which means unity, right? Unity in the community. And there is for each principle, there's a statement that uh, comes with each principle. And I am going to tell you what it is as soon as I pull it up. Sorry, I thought I had it up. But we light the black candle the first night. And we say Habari Gani and unity. Here we are. To strive for and to maintain unity in the family and community. Emotion. Okay. So the second night you come together, Habari Gani, Habari Gani. Second principle is Kujichagulia. Kujichagulia, self-determination. And so we will write like the red candle. If I have it backwards, just bear with me. Um, you would like first light the black candle, and then you would light the closest candle, red candle next to it to represent Kujichagulia, which is self-determination, to define and name ourselves as well as to create and speak for ourselves. Now, this is my favorite because I think it's very important for us to have self determination. And that is in every aspect of what it is that we do. Oftentimes when I talk about Ashe Academy and I talk about educating and teaching our children, I say, okay, we have to think out about our terms and our experiences and go from there. So if you're looking at somebody else to be the standard of how we teach and educate our children, that's not self-determination, right? Dr. Amos Wilson said, if you don't know who you are, then you're whoever someone tells you you are. And that statement is so powerful and it's definitely true. So if you don't know that you're a queen, if you don't know that you're a goddess and what comes with that, then you'll let someone else tell you, oh, it's okay to call yourself a bitch, or it's okay to call yourself or tell them that your men ain't any good when we all know that we have kings and gods in our midst, right? So Kujichagulia is the principle for me that I love, right? So the next night we come together and we light the black candle. You light the candle that is closest to you, red, green, and then you write opposite. You alternate. So Habari Gani for the third day, Ujima, Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Now, I had a friend who loved this one. She loved Ujima, Ujima, and the statement with that is to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. Wow. Now just think about that. Just think about what could happen if we thought about our brothers and sisters' problems are our problems instead of saying, mind your business. That ain't my business. You know, will we have a problem with uh, child abduction? Will we have a problem with homelessness? Will we have a problem with stealing and killing each other if we really thought about being our brothers and sisters keeper, right? So now we're on day number 4 is Ujama, collective cooperative economics to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses and to profit from them together. Together. One of the things that came with segregation was that, we didn't have a choice but to practice cooperative economics. And we had really stable communities, right? So, when you think about integration, think about who was harmed the most seriously, and not just in our mind, but economically as well. So, when we talk about cooperative economics, we're not just talking about the week of Kwanzaa. We're not just talking about during Black History Month. We're not just talking about when we are protesting. Cooperative economics is something that we should practice year round. All of these principles are, but especially cooperative economics. If you know someone that Black that has a product or provides a service, go and patronize their business. And of course, if you understand anything about business, you know that yeah, their prices may be a little bit higher, but that's because we don't have the access, right? So we have to think about all the things that encompass being and participating in Ujima and cooperative economics. All right. So we're on to day 5. Pabarigani, Nia. Nia. Nia means purpose. To make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Wow. When you think about being unapologetic, are we really unapologetic? I try to be Crystal Denise wherever I go. And so if you come to me at the library, if you come to me at the center, if you come to me at my home, I am Crystal Denise. I'm not a different person. And that encompasses everything that I stand for and everything that I believe in. So all of my spaces are going to be representative. You're going to see the representation of Crystal Denise in every space I occupy. And so I use my skill set to embody the person that I am as well. And it would be a beautiful thing if all of us could do that. Is get off this. It's just my job, or that's not my job, or I don't get paid enough. Come on, come on. If not us, then no one. I stopped saying if not us, then who, and started saying if not us, then no one. No one is going to do this for us. We have to do this ourselves. All right. And so day number 7. Day number 7 is the principle that binds all the other 6 together. Habarigani, Imani, faith, to believe with all our hearts, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Right? So, one of my frustrations and one of the things that I've come to recognize is that we don't believe in ourselves. We have schools that we control, the administration, the educators, the students, and yet they're failing. Why is that? Because we don't believe, we don't have the faith that we can do this. We may not control the curriculum, but we damn sure can control the culture, right? We can control the culture. And so we have to believe in ourselves to do what is necessary to do this thing, right? So money is a great one as well. So those are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, and I would love for us to practice them throughout the year. Yes. Uh, Greetings, Sister Tanisha. Thank you for tuning in. I thank everyone for tuning in because, like I said, Kwanzaa is one of my favorite times, celebrations. I'm not even going to say time anymore because it's something that we should be practicing throughout the year. It's one of my favorite celebrations. And so I just wanted to share today some of the principles, the symbols, and some resources that so that we can learn more about it. I was looking through this book. One of the resources that I have is Practicing Kwanzaa Year Round: Affirmations and Activities Around the Seven Principles. And it's written by Gwinnell Dismutes. And in the first chapter, she says, "Why Kwanzaa year round?" And I just wanted to read a little bit because it kind of is it she kind of validates what I had said earlier about having the Kwanzaa settings, right? She says, each December, many of us dust off the Kanara, bring out the Makika, and get ready for the Karumu in celebration of Kwanzaa. So there's also a feast. The 31st of December is when you had the feast. And it's more of a like a real gathering of people, family, friends in the community to celebrate Kwanzaa. So that is what Karumu is. But does any of this make a difference in our lives from January to November? Or have the seven principles become a mere cultural formality? I suggest that the Nagusa Saba can be a vehicle for personal and collective empowerment and a way to deal with our present crises as individuals and as a people. If we are to bring about a real change in our present condition, we must begin to utilize moral and spiritual resources such as the seven principles to ground and direct us through the social confusion of our time. If the Nagusa Saba are to mean anything to us at all, then they must become living principles honored and followed in our daily lives. Our Kwanzaa tables should remain up all year long to serve as the focal point of our energies and a reminder of our commitment to our personal goals and ideas and to the progress of our people. And so I love that little bit right there. I love that because it is a constant reminder. I was talking with someone the other day about Christmas, and Christmas is in the fabric of society, right? So people start talking about Christmas. Well, we talk about Christmas all year round, but then they really turn the heat up around September, right? Because it's nothing to go in Walmart or somewhere else and see Christmas trees out on display, right? So we had to be just as deliberate with Kwanzaa. We need to be talking about Kwanzaa all year. One of the things that we try to do at Ashe is incorporate the language in the curriculum, incorporate the language in our daily lives. So if we have a scholar that does something that's really creative, I was like, oh yeah, look at that Kuumba at work. Look at that Kuumba at work. And then, when somebody says something, I was like, look at that. You using that Koji Chagalia. You defining and naming for yourself. So using the language throughout, the year really is important. And it's become one of my goals. Um, so that is something that we do. It's something that we should be doing as a community. It's not just waiting until November or even December to start talking about, hey, where the Kwanzaa programs going on. It's something that we should be talking about all year long. And I know some of us do, but we that know have to be a lot more deliberate in doing that, right? Um, so having said that, I do want to share some resources because, like I said, I didn't want to be very long today because I know some of you all are out and about and busy, and I have a few more errands that I need to run. But I do want to share because we have quite a few resources here at the center in Coldwater, and then some of them are my personal resources as well. But I want to share because I know some people have um, they ask questions about, well, how can we do that? How can you incorporate and celebrate Kwanzaa throughout the year? And because it was one of my questions when I first started learning about Kwanzaa and really how to embody and practice the principles throughout the year. But so the first one is the one I read from earlier, practicing Kwanzaa year round, affirmations and activities around the seven principles. It's a small book, but she gets into the Indrika symbols. I think I said that right. Indrika and Dinka symbols. You know, these symbols that are symbolized. If you know anything about the Indrika and Dinkra symbols, then you know that they have symbols that represent a lot of uh, principles in on the continent. So this is one of my favorite books, and in there she talks about different ways you can celebrate Kwanzaa throughout the year, which is kind of like this one. It says Kwanzaa from holiday to everyday, a complete guide for making Kwanzaa a part of your life. Matifa and Gaza is the author. Yeah. Okay. Sister Simone, which book? The Practicing Kwanzaa Year Round is Gwinnell Dismukes. Gwinnell Dismukes. Okay. Um, I read this book a few years ago and I did a book talk on it. Kwanzaa, Black Power, and the Making of the African American Holiday Tradition by Keith Mays. It is, if you want a historical perspective on Kwanzaa, this is the book for you. He goes into just the whole business business of creating holidays and why certain holidays fall on certain days and things of that nature. And then he goes into a whole historic analysis of Kwanzaa from the first celebrations. And I really appreciated him writing about when Kwanzaa was first celebrated, how we kept it in house because we did not want it to be taken over by society and become commercialized like everything else that this capitalistic society gets their hands on. So I really appreciated that, and it made me more aware of who I have Kwanzaa conversations with because we know the cultural vultures and appropriation is out there, so we had to safeguard our culture, right? So this one is really good. I have read this one. Kwanzaa, Black Power, and the Making of the African American Holiday Tradition. I also have another adult book, The Complete Kwanzaa, Celebrating Our Cultural Harvest by Dorothy Winbush Riley. Now, I have not read this one yet, so I can't give a synopsis or any type of referral or recommendation or critique of it. I haven't read it. I just purchased it this year, but I will be reading it and I probably will have my recommendation or what I think of it coming soon. So, but this is one of mine, The Complete Kwanzaa. Now, I want to move on to some children's books because there are some really great children's books out there. One of them that I found this year that uh, I came across because as a librarian, I have one of my responsibilities as a cataloging librarian at the library is to add all the books that the library orders to the catalog so that you can find them when you come to the library and do a search. But anyway, this book came across my desk and I was like, whoa, I had to buy that for my personal self and for the center. The People Remember by one of my favorite young adult authors, Ibi Zaboy. This is a beautifully illustrated book, and she goes in from the time that our ancestors were kidnapped and stolen to present day, and it's an entire history lesson written in verse, written in poetry, but it's beautifully illustrated. Um, and it's just a wonderful historical lesson as well as embodying the seven principles in that lesson as well. The People Remember. It's beautiful, beautiful book. I have K is for Kwanzaa by Jawanda Ford. It's an alphabet Kwanzaa book, so each letter of the alphabet is a word significant in to the Kwanzaa celebration. K is for Kwanzaa. It's Kwanzaa Time by Cynthia St. James. This is a lift the flap book, so it's interactive. So if you have small children and they like to mess with the pages as you read, this would be a great book for them. right? It's a really engaging and interactive book. And then just let's see. We have Kevin's Kwanzaa, just a basic introduction to Kwanzaa, what it is, and it focuses around Kevin. All right, and it's a great start if you have young children. And then we have a couple more, but they're at Kemet Coffee because we did do a display at Kemet Coffee this year. But we have the Sounds of Kwanzaa, and it's a brother and sister that talk about, some of the music that you can make around Kwanzaa. And then there's a chapter book about Kwanzaa for your young adult children. And I can't remember what else we have, but we have a display up at Kwanzaa Kemet Coffee. So if you are in the area, stop by and join us, and I'll be telling you some more about that. Now, if there are some activities you want to do, I did find a few books that uh, have activities in them. I Spy Kwanzaa book for kids. So there are different activities that you can do in here. It tells you D is for drums, and I spy with my little eye something that starts with D. And so you can play this game with your young ones. I spy Kwanzaa. And this, I don't see an author on this. I think I was on Amazon and I just typed in Kwanzaa activity books, and this is one that came up. Another one that came up is Let's Celebrate Kwanzaa. Now, this one also has a book that goes with it. So we have the book and the activity book. And this one I love because they actually have plain lessons in here. So I was taking some pictures and I was sharing them with Brother Akil, some math lessons, count the symbols. So if you have small ones, you can use this book as for your lesson plans, your curriculum. And it has the fill in the blank. It has where you draw the term to the word, things of that nature. So this is a really good one that I use with our scholars here at Ashe. Let's Celebrate Kwanzaa and its counterpart, the book. And this is by Ariel Phoenix. All right. And then I also have Kwanzaa African holiday coloring books. So our scholars love to color. They love to color, and I think most children love to color. We just have gotten away from that, the basics. So I always make copies of pages and let our scholars color. You know, if especially if we're having a meeting up here and it's the adults talking, that's a great pastime for them to do some coloring and different activities here. All right. And now I want to share my screen because I have a couple things that I had downloaded from, if you're familiar with Brother Kamali Academy down in New Orleans, and the Brother Samora, he lives in Ghana, I think it is now. He has a great library that you can purchase from his products. And I purchased, let's see if I can get to it, share. Just this, the Kamali Academy Kwanzaa Unit Study, and it's a really great resource. It's in his on his website. You can just go to it, and he goes into the principles of Kwanzaa. There's some crafts that you can do, even some electronic resources or websites that you can go to as well. So this is the one that we purchased for Ashe Academy, and it's the Kwanzaa Unit Study. So I really like that one a lot as well. A Kwanzaa Celebration Pop-Up book by Nancy Williams is one of Little One's favorite. Oh, thank you for that, Sister Simone. I will be sure to look for that as well because I'm always looking for good Kwanzaa resources. So say thank you for sharing that. Um, and I want to end because that's all I have. I just wanted to kind of give a brief overview of Kwanzaa, the seven symbols, the seven principles, and some resources. But I do want to share my screen again because if you are in the area, we want you to come to our Kwanzaa celebration. So we're having Kwanzaa at Kemet Coffee. December 28th, which is Wednesday from 11 to 2. And it is on 3 it's at 306 East Main Street in Senatobia. We're gonna be having some music, some good food. If you know Sister Catherine, then you know. And then I'll be preparing some things, and then we're gonna have a great time of fellowship. So we're gonna be talking about the Nguzo Saba. We're gonna be talking about what it really means to practice the principles of Kwanzaa throughout the year. So if you can join us, if you are in the area, please make plans to join us from 11 to 2. It's going to be kind of a come and go. It's not going to be a structured program. So we encourage you to stop by, get to know us, get to know the scholars of Ashe Academy, get to know the educators. Sister Mila says she's going to be there. So we're going to have a good time. It's going to be a great fellowship. And even if you haven't been to Kemet, man, you are in for a treat. It is a wonderful, safe, healing black space. So please make plans to uh, join us. And there's one more announcement I need to make. Well, a couple more. Um, if you have not already purchased or made a donation to receive a calendar, please do so. I was trying to see if I could find um, the screenshot, but I can't. But our calendar is digital this year. So what we're asking is that you make at least a $10 donation to Ashe Academy Oasis Literacy Center. And if you cash app, put your email address in the note section and you will receive the calendar in your email. Just at least a $10 donation. It is one of our largest fundraisers to help with the work, to help maintain this safe space here in Coldwater, Mississippi. So if you have not, please consider and do that ASAP. Next month for my monthly book talk or live discussion, I will be having a brother on to talk about his book. I always get excited when I see some of the people on my friends list have written a book because I think it's very important who tells our story, who helps with the healing process is very important. And so this brother, he wrote a book titled Misery and the Company It Keeps by Dr. Craig Samuels. He's going to be coming on and talking to me about why he wrote the book, how to use the book, etc. And I'm trying to find the date. He will be coming on January 20, I'm sorry, January 30th. It's 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to be talking about his book. And I just want to read a sentence from the description of the book. He says, we just have to sharpen our resolve by improving our adversity quotient. And I'm sure when he comes on, he'll tell us what the adversity quotient is. When all factors are considered, Mr. Craig Samuel's Misery and the Company It Keeps helps us to realize it is our response to our responsibility to take charge of our lives. Don't let company with misery. I'm sorry, don't keep company with misery. Misery loves your company. Once you see misery coming, turn away and keep walking. In fact, run towards your divine destiny. So I'm looking forward to talking to Brother Craig Samuels next month about his book, Misery and the Company It Keeps. You know, we talk a lot about mental wellness. Well, let's start doing the work and putting the work in to start the healing process, right? So I want to thank everyone that tuned in today. As I said in the description, Kwanzaa, peace, love, and Kwanzaa is one of my favorite times of the year. However, we need to begin being creative using our kuumba to ensure that we practice the symbols every day. And that could be, the highlight of what we do every day celebrated the last week of the calendar year. So y'all have a great rest of the Saturday. It's going to be a productive day for me once I leave here, and I look forward to my timeline being lit up December 26th through January 1st, and even throughout the year, throughout the 2023 calendar year. So y'all have a great one. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Sister Mila. Thank you, Sister Simone, Sister Tanisha, Brother Demetrius, and all others who I may have missed, because I do see Brother Devon and my very own special warrior son, Jam the Akili, Brother Jahid. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Sister Gail. I'll go back and I'll look at those and I'll respond to them accordingly. Y'all have a great day. Peace and blessings. And happy Kwanzaa.